The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall, given by Nelson Mandela. This is a very useful quote. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. When we try for something, we fall many a time. Every time we fall, we rise. That is very important. And never falling is not at all important. A very useful quote while preparing for competitive exams. Now let us see what is there to learn from the language point of view, proficiency in English point of view. Today you're going to learn some important words. These words are very important. The first one, egregious, means shocking, an important word. Dissent, disagreement of opinion. This is also an important word. Intimidate, very important. It means to threaten or to frighten someone, frighten usually. We can also use the word threaten. Inept, again an important word. It means not competent, incompetent. Speculate, it goes with share market. It means to guess. Befuddle, a new word, an important word, but generally we use the word bewilder. Befuddle means to confuse or to perplex or to bewilder someone. Sedition, this goes with polity. It means a speech or a writing or behavior that incites people to go against the government. Disgruntled, disappointed, not happy. Guilt, it's an important word. It means association. Purportedly means elite. You got to spend some time to remember these words. Besides these effective words, what are you going to learn? You're going to learn, rather consolidate, 5 idioms. Cold piece of work, dirty work, labor of love, hustle and bustle. This goes with cities. Get the sack. This goes with employment. You're going to consolidate 5 phrasal verbs. Dawn on, very important. Date back, you come across quite often. Deter from, again important. Delve into, this is also important. Do away with. I would rather say these phrasal verbs are very important, and many of these idioms are not that important, except labor of love. Other idioms are not that important. Besides this enrichment, you're going to work on spot the errors. Today I have brought 10 sentences. If you get all the 10 correct, you should be very happy. No phrase replacement, and you're going to work on Parajumble. No close test. Reading comprehension, obviously, you're going to spend time on. Now let us take one of the headlines and see what is there to learn. Today's headline, stimulus plans another gimmick. 𝐒𝐄𝐈 calls it a recipe for large-scale privatization, impoverishing the poor. From this headline, you can learn 3 words. Stimulus, already we have got the word stimulus many a time. Something that creates some sort of response. Usually when we talk about behavior patterns, we use 2 words, stimulus, response. It is known as SR pattern, stimulus, response. Stimulus plans another gimmick. 𝐒𝐄𝐈 calls it a recipe for large-scale privatization, impoverishing the poor. There's one word here, gimmick. It's not gimmick, it is a gimmick. Part of speech is noun. A trick or device intended to attract attention, publicity or trade. The party or the government does something to attract either attention or publicity or trade. Then we use the word, we say it is another gimmick. It's like a trick to attract someone's attention. What is the example? They give away free gifts with children's meals as a marketing gimmick. Typical combinations, sales gimmick, marketing gimmick. The second word you can learn, it has got something. Then the list of ingredients and the instructions how to make something. For that also we use the word a recipe. The third word you can learn from this headline, impoverishing. This is an important word. Impoverish is a verb form, impoverishing adjective. To make someone poor. And what is the example for a recipe? High interest rates are a recipe for disaster. As I said, the typical combination, a recipe for disaster, a recipe for success, a recipe for failure. The last word, impoverishing, the new law is likely to further impoverish the poor. The new law is likely to further impoverish the poor. All the words are important. Now let us go to the editorial page and see what is there to learn. There are 4 articles. First one, a matter of relief. not that important in the sense there's nothing to learn from the headline. Faking danger on fighting fake news. Today we are going to spend time on this particular editorial. The main editorial, social distancing from the powerless. Again, no words worth learning. The last one, a jolt to national energy security. There's one word here, jolt. Jolt means what? Push or shake something or someone violently. Then we use the word jolt, unexpectedly also. Now let us go to the editorial. What is this editorial about? This editorial is all about fighting fake news. At the outset, it looks like the government is trying to fight fake news, but the editorial says it is faking danger. The news being reported, though it is fake news, it is not a dangerous thing, and the government is faking danger. Here, fake means you try to pretend. In this context, it means pretend danger. The fake news is not that dangerous in some cases, but the government is faking danger, and this faking danger is related to fighting fake news. It's all about that. The editorial provides a lot of examples where the journalists or the scribes have been arrested for news that is not really dangerous. It could be fake news, but it is not really dangerous. It could be speculated news, but not dangerous news. And the government is trying to do this using sedition law. That's what the editorial talks about. Now let us see how the editorial starts, how it goes. Faking danger on fighting fake news. Use of sedition law to fight fake news is an attempt to suppress inconvenient reports. Now there are 2 points here. One is fighting fake news. No one can deny that. No one will object to that. But in the real sense, it is not dangerous. Then using sedition law and trying to fight fake news, and what is the purpose behind to suppress inconvenient reports, that cannot be justified. That's what the editorial talks about. Use of sedition law. There's one important word here, sedition. Sedition, it goes with polity. It means either a particular speech, public speech, or a piece of writing, or particular behavior that is used to incite or ignite or excite people to go against the ruling party or against the government. That is known as sedition. Use of sedition law to fight fake news. Why are they doing it, or why the government is doing this? It is trying to suppress inconvenient reports. Certain reports are not convenient for the government, for the ruling party. They may feel a little, they may get troubled, and they are trying to use this sedition law to fight that particular news. Though it is fake, it may or may not, but they are trying to fight it in the guise of calling it dangerous news, which is not in reality, according to the editorial. The frequency with which journalists have been arrested. Look at this. The actual verb is here. All this is like the subject. The frequency with which journalists have been arrested since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic is quite disturbing. Something is quite disturbing. If I try to make this a simple sentence, I will say something is quite disturbing. In place of something, which is a subject, the frequency with which journalists have been arrested since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic is quite disturbing. It talks about the frequency with which journalists have been arrested. Journalists have been arrested. It is in present perfect passive voice. Since when? Since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic is really disturbing, quite disturbing. Again, you come across the word quiet, you have to think of another word, quiet. What is the spelling of that? Q-U-I-E-T. Quite big, very big. Keep quiet, keep calm. 2 different words, but they come under confusing words. The reasons given by the police across India for arresting reporters and editors of news portals indicate that special provisions enacted to prevent the spread of rumor during disasters are being used to suppress reporting on political developments and possible governmental corruption. This talks about misuse of power, misuse of law. This sentence, a lengthy sentence. The reasons given by the police across India, reasons for what? For arresting reporters and editors of news portals indicate that. Indicate what? Again, ask the question, indicate what? Indicate that special provisions enacted to prevent the spread of rumor during disasters. Usually what happens during disasters, a lot of rumors are spread. They spread like wildfire. And something has to be done from the government side. To prevent the spread of rumors, the government has enacted special provisions. And this talks about the reasons given by the police across India for arresting reporters and editors of news portals indicate that special provisions enacted to prevent the spread of rumor during disasters are being misused rather, to suppress. There's one important word here, suppress. Means what? To prevent or to bring something to an end or to control, to curb. Means all the time, no exceptions whatsoever. And dissent, disagreement of opinion. Someone does not agree or someone opposes, we call it dissent. The most egregious, shocking case involves a criminal provision that governments invariably fall back upon. There's one important expression here. It is rather a phrasal verb. Fall back upon means what? To depend on something as a backup, as an alternative. To depend on, to rely on something in the absence of something else. Fall back upon, to suppress dissent. The arrest, now the editorial gives a lot of examples. The arrest of Dhawal Patel, editor of a news portal in Gujarat, on the serious charge of sedition, is a shocking instance of misuse of criminal laws to intimidate journalists. If someone is arrested under this charge of sedition, it is like a criminal, it's a crime, it comes under criminal laws. This sentence talks about the arrest of Dhawal Patel, editor of a news portal in Gujarat, on the serious charge of sedition, is a shocking instance of misuse of criminal laws to intimidate journalists. It is nothing but abuse of criminal laws or misuse of criminal laws. And what is the reason behind? To intimidate journalists. There's one important word here, intimidate. What is the meaning of the word intimidate? To frighten or to threaten. The case concerned an article. Again, the case concerned an article means related to an article speculating that State Chief Minister Vijay Rupani may be replaced by the BJP for his alleged inept handling of efforts to combat the pandemic. The writer must have written an article saying that the government, the BJP party, may replace the Chief Minister. There's nothing wrong in that. It is not a dangerous news. It is only a speculation. But arresting the editor because of this particular news, saying that it comes under on the charge of sedition, that cannot be justified according to the editorial. The case concerned an article speculating. There's one important word here, speculate, to guess that State Chief Minister Vijay Rupani may be replaced. Again, may be replaced, grammar point of view important, by the BJP for his alleged inept handling. Alleged means accused, allegedly, accusation, allegation. Means what? To say something, to say that someone is wrong, but there is no evidence. Alleged inept handling. Inept means not able, not competent, incompetent. That is also an important word. Inept handling of efforts to combat the pandemic, to fight the pandemic. There's nothing wrong in this news, but for this news, the editor was, or rather has been arrested on the serious charge of sedition. The report had even named a possible successor. That particular report, it said the CM may be replaced, one thing, and the article named the possible successor, who is going to take the place of the present incumbent chief minister. It is befuddling how such a report could amount to sedition. That is rather strange. Such a report cannot amount to sedition. It cannot come under sedition. It cannot be justified. There's one word here, befuddling. Befuddle means to confuse, to bewilder, to perplex. You have to recollect all these words. It is befuddling how such a report could amount to sedition, regardless of whether the speculation is true. It doesn't matter, that speculation, whether the CM will be replaced or not, that doesn't matter. It may come true, it may not come true, but how does it come under, or how does it amount to sedition? That is $1 million question, and that cannot be justified. Oftentimes, a new expression, haven't seen this. Usually we say often, or we say many a time, but oftentimes, a new expression, do remember, next time you see this, don't think it is wrong. If it is wrong, they wouldn't have used. Had it been wrong, they wouldn't have used. Oftentimes, The source of such speculation is a disgruntled section of the ruling party itself. Usually the press people, the newspapers, the magazines, they have their own sources. Sometimes what happens, they get the news from the opposition party, and sometimes they get the news from the same party. This sentence talks about the second dimension. Oftentimes, the source of such speculation, for every speculation, there should be some sort of source. The source of such speculation is a disgruntled section of the ruling party itself. From the ruling party itself, someone must have given the information regarding that speculation. There's one important word here, disgruntled, means what? Disappointed, not happy. And it is excessive to punish reportage with inadequate verification, with arrest and prosecution for sedition. The editorial says this cannot be justified, and it is excessive. It is excessive means not expected, not warranted for, and not at all required. It is excessive to punish reportage with inadequate verification, with arrest and prosecution for sedition. It doesn't come under sedition, that's what the editorial talks about. Mr. Patel has also been charged under Section 54 of the Disaster Management Act for allegedly spreading panic through a false alarm concerning a disaster. Another allegation against Mr. Patel has also been charged under Section 54 of the Disaster Management Act for allegedly spreading panic through a false alarm concerning a disaster. Two different dimensions. One goes with the disaster, creating or spreading panic. The other one, replacement of the incumbent CM and naming the successor as well. The Editors Guild of India has seen a growing pattern in the misuse of criminal laws to intimidate journalists. Now, what does it indicate? What does it convey? What is the message from these arrests? The editorial provides some more examples. The Editors Guild, there's one important word here, guild. Guild means an association. Editors Guild, and if you take business, a particular segment, a particular sector, they all form a particular association related to that particular sector. We call it guild. Guild means an association. The Editors Guild of India has seen a growing pattern in the misuse of criminal laws to intimidate journalists. Intimidate, frighten. The concern is not misplaced. The concern is not misplaced. That means it can be justified. What can be justified? This perception that the journalists are being intimidated. And again, the editorial tries to justify this concern expressed by the Editors Guild. It can be justified because of a lot of examples. One example, the case of Mr. Patel. Now the editorial provides another example, or perhaps one or two examples. In the Andamans, a reporter was arrested for a social media post claiming people who had contacted a COVID-19 positive patient over phone were also being quarantined. This is something like ridiculous and rather funny. The concern is not misplaced. Why? In the Andamans, one example, in the Andamans, a reporter was arrested for what? For a social media post claiming people who had contacted a COVID-19 positive patient over phone. Someone has contacted a COVID-19 positive patient over the phone. They were also being quarantined. If you call someone who has got COVID-19, who has tested positive COVID-19, if you call that person, you don't have to be quarantined. That is ridiculous and something unwanted. And they were also being quarantined. This reporter must have written something like that. For that, he was arrested. And one more example. In Coimbatore, police arrested a news portal founder following a report on alleged corruption in food distribution as part of the local administration's efforts to handle the fallout of the pandemic. In Coimbatore, one example, Gujarat, second example, Andamans, third example, Coimbatore. Police arrested a news portal founder following a report. What was the report? On alleged corruption in food distribution as part of the local administration's efforts to handle the fallout of the pandemic. Fallout, it has two different meanings. One meaning, the consequences of something, a particular act, a particular policy, a particular step, the negative consequences, we use the expression fallout. Another meaning of the word or the phrasal verb fallout, it means an argument. But in this context, to handle the fallout of the pandemic, the negative impact of the pandemic. In Delhi, one more example, the fourth example. In Delhi, a reporter was summoned. Summon, it goes with, it's a legal term. Ask someone to be present in the court of law or to be present in the police station. Usually it goes with a court of law. Was summoned in response to a report that claimed that an audio clip purportedly containing a speech by the head of the Tablighi Jamaat was doctored. Now again, one more report saying that the speech by the head of the Tablighi Jamaat was doctored, was engineered. There are two expressions you have to remember: was doctored, was engineered. Means what? It was created, not real, not original. It was rather created. And there's one word here, purportedly, means what? Allegedly. Allegedly containing a speech. While asking a journalist to join the investigation may not by itself be illegal. There's nothing wrong in that. The police should not use the power of summons to intimidate reporters or extract details of the source. The police have no right to ask about the source, the details of the source, from where they got the news. They don't have to ask the reporters. They don't have the right to ask the reporters. That is one thing. And they should not misuse the power of summons to intimidate the reporters, to frighten the reporters. There ought to be greater restraint. Ought to be. This is a helping verb. You ought to do something. You ought to be punctual. It is used to express, to advise someone or to suggest someone. It goes with formal English. There ought to be greater restraint. Restraint, you have got many a time. Holding back something, while invoking special provisions relating to handling disasters and epidemics. Invoke has got many meanings. One of the meanings, it goes with religion. You do something and you ask the gods or spirits to do something. Invoke a spirit, invoke a god. And another meaning, using, invoke a special law. Invoke special provisions, means what? Use of special provisions. Section 54 only punishes the spreading of panic relating to the severity of or magnitude of a disaster. Section 54 only penalizes the spreading of panic relating to the severity of magnitude, dimension of a disaster. Claiming falsely, for instance, that a dam had breached. If some reporter says a particular dam has got breached, breach means to develop a crack. One meaning. Another meaning, when we talk about a contract, an agreement, breach of contract, breach of agreement, not following the contract rules and regulations or whatever is in the contract, not to comply with, and does not extend to mere incorrect reporting. How does the editorial end? In normal circumstances, the authorities ought to be content with getting their version or response to be carried by the news outlets concerned. Usually what they do, whenever they come across a false report or a fake news, they try to have a press meet and they make things crystal clear. They make sure that the facts go out, the facts reach everyone. And that is a normal course of action. And not seek to use the pandemic as an excuse to curb inconvenient reporting. Now what is happening? Usually any fake news, they try to have a press meet, they give the clarity, they go in for clarification, and they make sure that the news gets disseminated, the actual facts. But here what is happening? They're trying to use this pandemic as an excuse to curb, to control inconvenient reporting, something that is not convenient. In the guise of dangerous news, they're trying to intimidate the journalists. It's all about what the government is doing, especially from the media point of view, from the journalist point of view. An interesting editorial. Now let us see what is there to learn from vocabulary point of view. Suppress. You have got this many a time. Suppress a particular movement, suppress a particular group, suppress a particular activity. Forcibly put an end to. Invariably, always, all the time, with no exceptions whatsoever. Dissent, strong difference of opinion. Speculating, guessing. Inept, incompetent. Almost all these words are important. Befuddling, confusing. Generally, we use the word confusing with everyday English. Effective English, we use words like perplexing, bewildering. And now one more word, befuddling. Sedition, important word, Nowadays, it is in the limelight. Quite often in the newspapers, you come across cases of sedition. Do remember this word. Language or behavior intended to persuade others to oppose the government. Here, language, it could be a speech, it could be a piece of writing or behavior intended to persuade or incite others to oppose the government. Disgruntled, disappointed, not happy, guilt, association, an important word, editor's guilt, fallout, adverse results. Another meaning of the word fallout, argument, summoned, ordered to be present. This is a legal term. Purportedly, allegedly, invoking, appealing, penalizes, punishes, breached, broken, we have got many a time, intimidate, an important word, threaten, egregious, very important, shocking. Now, what is the word of the day? Invoke. It has got two different meanings. One meaning goes with religion, another meaning goes with law and order. The first meaning, call on a deity or spirit in prayer as a witness or for inspiration. You appeal to a spirit or to a deity, or you call on a deity or spirit in prayer as a witness or for inspiration. That is called invoke a deity, invoke a spirit. In this context, you use a law in order to achieve something. When you see the example, you understand the second meaning. This is rather important. Word forms: invoke, verb, it's a regular verb. Invoked, adjective. Invocation, careful with spelling, the spelling has changed. Invocation, noun form. Word combinations: invoke law, invoke ancient gods, invoke ancient powers. Synonyms: call on, solicit, implore. These words are rather important: implore and solicit. Call on, it's a phrasal verb. Antonyms: answer, give, reply. Example: police can invoke the law to regulate access to these places. Police can invoke the law, use a law to regulate access to these places. Common error: I would like to meet the concerned person. A lot of people say this when they go to someone's office. They want to meet a particular person. They say, I would like to meet the concerned person. That is not correct. We are supposed to say, I would like to meet the person concerned. You may ask, sir, what is the difference between these two? If you say, I would like to meet the concerned person, that means this person has concern for you. You are a stranger. Why will he have concern for you? That doesn't make any sense. But when you say, I would like to meet the person concerned, means what? Person related to that particular work, person related to that particular department. Then it is correct. So never say the concerned person. Always try to say the person concerned. That is very important. Let us see what is there to learn from grammar point of view. The frequency with which journalists have been arrested is shocking. In place of a subject, sometimes, usually subject, one word, he or Ramesh, a noun or a pronoun. And sometimes it's a phrase. Sometimes subject could be a clause, or it could be a clause plus a phrase. A lengthy sentence, the frequency with which journalists have been arrested. A sentence like this one, you got to be very careful. And under pressure, you cannot decide what is the subject and what is a related verb. And then if the question is related to subject-verb agreement, then it becomes a problem. That way it is rather important. Provisions enacted to prevent the spread of rumor during disasters. Provisions were enacted or are enacted to prevent. That is understood. This is enacted. It's understood. Provisions that were enacted to prevent the spread of rumor during disasters. That were understood. Something, they are being used to suppress. Certain things, the provisions are being used to suppress something. They are being used. What is the actual sentence? This is in passive voice. Whenever you come across a sentence in passive voice, always ask the question, what is the same sentence in active voice? When I say are being used to suppress, provisions are being used to suppress something. Now what is the sentence in active voice? Something is, provisions are being used to suppress something. And they are using, here the subject you have to assume they are using provisions to suppress something. They're using the provisions to suppress something. And then what happens? Provisions are being used by them. By them, we don't mention. Provisions are being used to suppress something. That clarity is very important. Invariably, fall back upon to suppress dissent. Fall back upon, an important phrasal verb. What does it mean? To depend on, to rely on. You have something in hand, but you have an apprehension. Sometimes it may not work or something may go wrong. Then you want to have something as a backup. Then you say, fall back upon. You use this particular phrasal verb. The case concerned an article. Remember the word concerned, it is important from the exam point of view. I've just explained the common error, this one. The report had even named a possible successor. Here, had even named. This is in past perfect tense, active voice. The report had named a possible successor, regardless of whether the speculation is true. Here, whether or not, that is one pattern. In this pattern, you don't have to use or not required. Regardless of whether the speculation is true, regardless of whether what he says is correct. You don't have to use or not. Remember this pattern as well. Mr. Patel has also been charged. This is in present perfect, active, passive voice. What is the sentence in active voice? They have also charged Mr. Patel. Mr. Patel has also been charged. Were also being quarantined. They were quarantining someone. Someone was being quarantined. They were quarantining them. They were also being quarantined. This is again in passive voice, past continuous tense. When you see the word being plus the verb past participle, you should tell yourself it is in a continuous tense in passive voice. Here, past continuous tense in passive voice. Now let us see what is there to learn from the comprehension skill point of view. What is this editorial about? It is all about faking danger. There's no danger when it comes to fake news, but the government fakes danger. It's all about that with a lot of examples. What is quite disturbing in the context of the editorial? Again, easy to spot the answer when you navigate based on quite disturbing. These are the key words. How are provisions enacted to prevent the spread of rumor during disasters being used? How are provisions, keyword, being used? You can easily locate the answer. What is befuddling? This is a word that goes with effective English in the context of the editorial. Again, easy to write the answer. What has the Editors Guild of India seen? Again, go to the editorial, look for the word Editors Guild, then you find the answer. Same strategy, same approach you have to use in the exam. When you read a particular question, try to get the key words and look for those key words in the passage. Usually the answer is over there. Now let us go to the time for you guys to respond. Have a look at these words. These are not regular words. You got to be a little careful and get the part of speech first, after that the meaning. There is no buffering as such. One or two students say buffering. We don't consider what is the reason. It is at your end, not at my end. Now please respond. Egregious development, egregious reason, egregious behavior. Try to make a few combinations and then you get clarity. You can tell the part of speech. Obviously it is adjective. What is the meaning of that? Egregious. Someone has gone to the second one. Answer, shocking. Answer is D. Egregious behavior. Something very bad. Fake news, bringing it under sedition, is something shocking. We say egregious. Dissent. Dissent, part of speech, noun, that's right. And what is the meaning of that? A lot of students have answered F. Strong difference of opinion. That is also right. F is the answer. Go to the third one. What part of speech is intimidate? Intimidation is not a good thing. You can intimidate others with money, with power, with knowledge, with your English as well. His English is intimidating. Means what? You get a little frightened when someone speaks flawless English or impeccable English. Part of speech verb, what is the meaning of that? G, threaten or frighten. G is the answer. Perfect. Go to the fourth word, speculate. From that you get speculating. What is speculating? Right? Verb. It's a verb. Speculate, speculating something. It could be a noun as well. But speculate, a verb. What is the meaning of that? H is the answer, guessing. Speculate means what? Guess. What is the fifth one? Inept person, inept statement, inept behavior. Try to make a few combinations, then you feel comfortable. You can tell with immense confidence it is an adjective. Inept behavior, inept statement, answer, incompetent. There is no buffering. One student says buffering, I will not consider. I see a lot of students have been responding. Perhaps it is at your end. Please go to the sixth word, befuddling. But take the word as befuddle. Befuddle, part of speech, verb. Perplex, befuddle, bewilder, confuse. It could be a noun, it could be an adjective. But basic verb. What is the meaning of that? Answer is J, confusing. Befuddling, perplexing, confusing, bewildering, all mean the same. Sedition, on the charges of sedition. Obviously, it has to be a noun. Noun, what is the meaning? Not exactly, because of space constraint, I could not give the exact meaning. You can choose I. But what is the exact meaning of the word sedition? Sedition means either a speech or writing or behavior that is used to, that is intended to change the opinion of the public or people, to make that they go against the government, to incite the people to go against government. Disgruntled people, disgruntled crowd, part of speech, adjective. Disgruntled party workers, a typical expression. What is the meaning of that? Eighth one, part of speech, adjective. Disgruntled, yes, it's a verb. But here in this context, disgruntled party workers, then it becomes an adjective. Disappointed, what is the answer? Disappointed is the answer. What is the ninth one? Guild. Guild, editors guild, goldsmiths guild, business people, exporters guild. Typical examples: editors guild, reporters guild, and exporters guild, importers guild. Part of speech, noun. What is the meaning of that? Association. Answer is the first one. Association. And what are you left with? Purportedly, ly, allegedly. It has to be an adverb. What is the meaning of that? Which word are you left with? Agitation is over. Allegedly. Answer C is the answer. Very useful words. Today's editorial, a lot of important words are there. They are important from the exam point of view. If someone has got all the 10 correct, should be extremely happy. Now listen to me very carefully. I have brought 10 sentences related to spot the errors. Some of them are easy, a few are rather difficult. And you should try to get all the 10 correct. That's good, Sridhar. All correct, very good. Be happy. 8 plus also you should be very happy. I see a lot of students, Nagamani, Sai Krishna, and Saina. After that, a lot of Divya Jyoti, Sridhar, Chandralekha. Please go to spot the errors. Try to get nice editorial, interesting editorial. And Banu Prakash, very happy. Good. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the session. Spot the errors, not all of them. You should get all the 10 correct. Then you should be extremely happy, but not that easy. Where is the error? By put, already I have said, we have got many a time. Generally we say on foot or walking. If someone asks the question, how do you come? Typical answer, people say by walk. By walk is not correct. By walk is wrong. You have to say either on foot or I come on foot. I come walking. You could also say a new expression, I come by foot. By foot, no problem. There's nothing wrong with that. This is not easy. This is rather difficult. I will give you a clue. Look at this phrase. Many of them. Here, many of them, this is a phrase. In this phrase, what is the pronoun them? Is it in the object form or is it in the subject form? They is the subject form and them is the object form. That means here we cannot say who. It should be whom. Many of whom had started. This is very difficult and very important from the exam point of view. I don't think anyone has got it right. No one has, only now I see Swapna says whom. It is not who, it should be whom. Many of that phrase takes the object form. Who goes with the subject form and whom goes with object form. Subject, object. And to make it easy for you guys, I have given one phrase. We don't say many of they. That is not correct. We say many of them. The same way, many of whom, not many of who. And to get this right, not at all easy. They have given in so many exams. In my opinion, this is really a tough one. Nothing to worry. Go back to sentence number 2. That is rather easy. Yes, I have seen a lot of students have got it right. Here it is not, they be sent back. It is not sent, it should be sent back. Not sent back, sent back. Already we are running out of time, Nagalakshmi. A slide on important articles. We don't have so much time. Yesterday also I think it was 12 past 9. An hour and 12 minutes. People can't afford to spend so much time. I don't have any problem. I can take the session for 2 hours also. I'll be extremely happy. 1.5 hours, I'll be extremely happy. But that is not the point. Imagine you spend 1.5 hours on this session. After the session, again you have to spend some time to consolidate your knowledge. And let's say about an hour, 2.5 hours on this one, not advisable in my opinion. An hour plus or minus 10 minutes. And after that, an hour to consolidate, enough from the exam point of view. More than enough in the long run. This is enough. You don't have to do anything else to... let me tell one thing to all of you. These sessions are very useful from the exam point of view. No second thoughts about that. But you should know the basics. Imagine you know the basics. You have already learnt the basics of English grammar. And you're ready to take the exam. You have some sort of awareness regarding comprehension skill and vocabulary, but you're not very good at comprehension, you're not very good at vocabulary. These are the ideal sessions. Then what happens? You will go to a different place altogether, and that will help you in the exam. Whether it is prelims or mains, definitely you will be able to handle. But the point here, an hour is okay, and an hour plus 10 minutes, okay to some extent. Beyond that, it is like stretching. There's a saying in English, what is it? Don't stretch anything beyond the limit. Then it will be counterproductive. We should not make it counterproductive. Still, I will not say no. I will try to squeeze in some time. On and off, I will try to get important articles. I will consider. Let us go to the next one. 90 minutes is okay. It should be okay for everyone, not for 1 or 2 students. Please go to Sentence number 3. Sentence number 2, send is not correct, sent is correct. But here, please remember, they be sent back. Usually we say they are sent back. But here be has been used, bare infinitive. What is it? Bare infinitive. Be. Try to remember this pattern. They be sent back. They are sent back. In place of are, they have used be. A new pattern. Whenever you come across a new pattern, you got to spend some time. Sentence number 3, where is the error? Nothing wrong with concern about, absolutely no problem. Okay. Oh, Sangeeta, you're here. Fine, 90 minutes, okay, sir. We'll give it I will try to consider. Please answer. Have a look at sentence number 3. Try to spot the error. This is again not that easy. Thank you very much, Jagdish or Jadesh. Thank you. Please have a look at sentence number 3. Where is the error? I would like to caution, it is not easy. You have to answer based on contextual awareness. Very good. Who is this? Jayant has got it right. And also Ramesh Yadav has got it right. Here the context talks about a fact. US virologist expresses concern about India's crowded urban areas in low-income neighborhoods where people, you cannot use past. It is a fact. Then the verb should be in present, where people are forced to live in proximity. People are forced to live in proximity. Here, context. What is this question about? Contextual awareness. Contextual awareness is very important. What is a context? It talks about a fact. When we want to express a particular fact, we have to use present tense, not past tense. And there's one important word here. Right now, it is in the limelight. Proximity means what? Closeness. COVID-19 coronavirus, it doesn't go with proximity. We have to maintain social distancing. Recently, I've seen one message in a particular group, SMS, new definition. What do the letters stand for? One is social distancing, the second one mask, and third one sanitizing, using sanitizer. A new definition for the abbreviation SMS, social distancing, using a mask and using a sanitizer. Please go to sentence number 4 and tell me where the error is. This is, again, rather easy, should not be a problem. You have learned the rules. As per sanitizer, as per social distancing, M for masks. Fourth, nothing wrong with the fourth part. There is no problem. Which shall are you talking about? You have to mention the part. One student says fourth part shall is not correct. It is correct. No error over there. There is an error in the second part. What is the second part? The personnel ministry has said, here it is in present perfect, that tenses don't change to a corresponding past tense. I gave the other day. When it comes to statements, reported speech, what is the first rule? If the reporting verb is in present, present perfect, or future, the tenses don't change to a corresponding past tense. That is one rule you have to recollect. You cannot write should or would, ruled out. But here, this sentence talks about rules and regulations. What does the sentence talk about? Rules and regulations. Already have learned to express rules and regulations, we use a helping verb shall. What are the functions of the helping verb shall? It has two functions. One, it is used to request for instructions, for suggestions, and for proposals. Request for instructions, suggestions, and proposals. The second use of the helping verb shall, it is used to express rules and regulations. This sentence talks about rules and regulations, then will is not correct. It should be shall. In place of will, we have to use shall. That is a correct sentence. An easy one if you remember the rule, otherwise a tough one. Please go to sentence number 5 and tell me where the error is. Now, should not be a problem. Four, 5 and 6 rather easy. Thank you very much, Venkat. Nice of you. I appreciate that. Yes, here it is related to misspelled words. What is the spelling of here? This is D-I-V-I-S-E. It is a verb. But here we are talking about something plural. Then it should be C-E-S, noun. It is not V-I-S-E-S, it is V-I-C-E-S. Device, it's a noun. Devise, it's a verb. So here it is not S-E-S, it should be C-E-S. It is related to misspelled words. Yes, a lot of students have got it right. Please go to sentence number 6. Tell me where the error is. This is again a common error. Postpone, we don't use the letter H. What is the spelling of postpone? P-O-S-T-P-O-N-E. Postpone. It is not P-H-O. It is P-O. Postponed. Here it may look rather easy, but do remember, under pressure, sometimes you may not be able to spot the error. Postpone. What is the opposite of postpone? I'll give you a few seconds. I will give you a few seconds. Write the opposite of postpone. Quickly. Only a few seconds. I will repeat the question. What is opposite of postpone? Yes, it is prepone. Some people think this is not correct, but it is correct. Indians have created this word. I'll tell you something interesting in a nutshell. This is of Indian origin. Indians have created the word prepone, and in 1972, it became part of standard English language. Now it is part of standard English language. It is absolutely right. But origin, Indian origin. Postpone, logically thinking what is opposite? Prepone. Indian origin, 1972, it became part of standard English language. Please go to sentence number 7 and try to spot the error. There are about 2,000 words like that. You will be shocked and surprised to know 2,000 words have become part of standard English language. 2,000 words of Indian origin, they have become part of standard English language. Please go to sentence number 7 and try to locate the error. 4 women and 3 children were killed in a fire that broke out in a 3-story apartment complex in Gwalior on Monday. Where is the error? National wide? I don't think so. National, you have to use a noun after that. We don't think, in my opinion, I don't think. National wide, I have never seen. Nationwide is right. That's a good one. I will not be shocked told by you. That I appreciate that as well. Please go to, yes. Here, what is the spelling of multi in a 3-story apartment complex? This story is different. First, I'll write that word, story. What are the synonyms? Fable, tale, myth, story, fable, tale, myth. They are all synonyms. But here, it is not about that story. What is this story? What is the spelling? S-T-O-R-E-Y, story. 3-story apartment complex. This should be the word. You don't have to use 3-storied. 3-story apartment complex. Again, about 30 to 40 words, British English and American English. British English, they say, first I'll write apartment. What is the difference between apartment and flat? British English, we say flat. American English, we say apartment. Again, like this, about 30 to 40 words are there. If you take taxi, British, and cab, American. Petrol, British, gasoline or gas, American. Sentence number 8, where is the error? It is not facilitated. What is the right word here? Felicitated or facilitated? Verb felicitated. Felicitation, publicly approving or encouraging or accepting someone's success and doing something about it. Untiring, no problem with this. Their untiring service, absolutely no problem. There is a problem here. It is not facilitated. It is felicitated. When you think of the word, tomorrow you get selected, and definitely you will be felicitated, not facilitated. You will be felicitated. And related to this, there is one word you have to learn or recollect. Souvenir. It is not souvenir. It is souvenir. Souvenir goes with, at the time of, imagine a particular institute has completed 10 years and there is one particular function to celebrate completion of 10 years. That time they release a book. That book is called a souvenir, one meaning. Another meaning, if you go to a particular place like Andaman and Nicobar Islands, to remember that place, you buy a seashell and you bring back that seashell. That seashell is considered a souvenir. Souvenir. I have brought this seashell as a souvenir from Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Please go to sentence number 9. Where is the error? This is again easy. Should not be a problem. 3-storied building. Either way it is correct. Please go to sentence number 9. Tell me where the error is. It is not lays off, it is lay off. Lay off means what? Terminate services. Terminate. Services. Terminate someone's services. Lay off. Usually it goes with recession. The word goes with a recession. And here what surprises me sometimes, said the reporting verb is in past. Here it should be would. I have changed. But in the newspaper they have given a will. That is beyond my comprehension. Standard English, according to English grammar, when the reporting verb is in past, we have to use the verb in the past. It changes to a corresponding past form. But in the newspaper they have used will. Somehow I didn't feel like presenting the same sentence. I had to change. I changed. Said it would. Lays off is not correct. Lay off. Please go to the last sentence. Sentence number 10, where is the error? At first glance, it's a standard phrase. Nothing wrong with that. At first glance. Absolutely no problem. Yes, who is this? Was written. Kasim Babu has got it right. First one to get. After that, I see Venkat. And again, Kasim Babu I have seen already. Akshay also has got it. Gupta has got it. Yes, here, which at one point is written, not correct. Was written. Again, what is important here? Contextual awareness. Contextual awareness. At one point, talks about the past. Then we cannot say is written. It should be was written. That's it. 10 sentences. Now the $1 million question. Has anyone got all the 10 correct? I repeat. Has anyone got all the 10 spot the errors correct? Waiting for your response. Who is this? Manasa has got all the 10 correct. That's wonderful. I really appreciate. Who else? That's good. A lot of students have got 7, 8. That's also pretty good. You should be very happy. And Shivkumar says, irrespective of the score, he has been enjoying. He enjoys every session. That is very important. Score, today it could be all the 10 correct, tomorrow 8, day after tomorrow 7. That doesn't matter. What matters, whether you enjoy the session or not, whether you're getting enriched or not. That is the bottom line. Please have a look at this Parajumble, and there are 2 ideas, 6 parts. Each idea takes 3 parts. That is the structure of this Parajumble. What is the first sentence? Already a few students have responded. They say E is the first sentence. That is right. The Indian Newspaper Society, INS, the central organization for the press in the country. Absolutely right. Second, has told the Supreme Court. That is also right. B is the second one. I will write here E, B. The Indian Newspaper Society, INS, the central organization for the press in the country, has told the Supreme Court that government should pay up. Pay up what? Ask the question, then you get the answer. Pay up. D is the third one, that's right. Pay up the hundreds of crores of rupees it owes. It means the government, a particular government. It owes in advertisement money to newspapers. They should have used they instead of it. These 3 go with one idea. What is the 4th one? More information. Here it talks about the society. It also blamed. What is the 4th one? C is the 4th one. It also blamed the governments for issuing hypocritical and discriminatory advisories, asking private establishments to pay full salaries to their, this is the 5th one, to their employees during the COVID-19 lockdown, especially when the state, a model employer, had itself cut salaries at a time of a calamity of global proportions. This is the last one. What is the 5th one? F is the 5th one. And what is the last one? E, B, D, and C, F, A. This is the correct C, F, A. Asking private establishments to pay full salaries to the employees during the COVID-19 lockdown, especially when the state had itself cut salaries. That should be the last sentence. Oh, that's wonderful. You should be very happy. Now go to, this is word map. Be puddling, a new word. Muddling, you have to remember. Dazing, shocked, perplexed. Bamboozling, a new word. Bewildering, this is rather important. Addling, not regular words, but be puddling, I don't say it's a regular word. Yes, dazing, bewildering, muddling, rather, they go with effective English. You have to remember. It doesn't mean that you have to forget other words. Now, time for consolidation. Try to respond quickly. You have learnt all these. I will not give you a lot of time. Yes, bamboozling, a new word altogether. For me also a new word. English has 8 lakh words. And English people know only 20,000 to 40,000. That is a range. A lot of words we are not aware of. About 7,50,000 words. We don't know. Yes, it is an easy one, beyond any doubt, for a change. Dawn on. I want you guys to respond. Dawn on. To realize something for the first time. Answer is the 5th option. One student responds with the correct option. I will mark that one to save time. Date back. What is the answer for the second one? B5 is not correct. A5 is correct. What is B? B4 is correct. Date back. Something dates back to. Made at specific time or started at specific time. That is the answer. Deter from. Dative prom is rather important. All these are important. Today's phrasal verbs are rather important. Dative prom, answer, to discourage someone from doing something. First option. And what is delve into? To try to find information by examining something thoroughly. That is right. Generally we say, don't delve into the past. Means don't think too much about the past. Don't brood about the past, brood over the past. And what are you left with? Do away with. This is over. And to get rid of something. Answer is the third one. To get rid of something, do away with something. That's right. Now go to idioms consolidation. Cold piece of work. All of you please go to the next slide. It hasn't got displayed. Now it is displayed. What is the meaning of? That's very good. That means you remember what we have learnt already. Cold piece of work. First one is 5, that's right. Someone difficult to deal with. Dirty work. Unpleasant work or dishonest action. That's right. B is what? Third option. Labor of love. I'm sorry. Labor of love. Refers to a work that brings you great pleasure. That's right. Hustle and bustle. What is the meaning of that? 3 is over. Refers to a busy activity, usually in a noisy surrounding. This goes with cities. The hustle and bustle of a city. Cold piece of work, someone difficult to deal with. Dirty work, unpleasant work or dishonest action. Labor of love refers to a work that brings you great pleasure. Hustle and bustle refers to a busy activity, usually in a noisy surrounding. Get the sack, to be dismissed from employment. To get a pink slip. It also means you get a pink slip. Now the challenging exercise, the last exercise. What is it? 10 words. That's very good. All the 5 correct, you should be happy. Here you have to get all the 10 correct. Then you should be happy. The hustle and bustle of a city. The hustle and bustle at railway stations. Yes, that is also right. Please go to. Thank you, Kiran. I appreciate that. Please, drought. What part of speech is it? It is noun. What is the meaning of that? 1, dry period. H. Dry period, dry spell, no rains for a long time. Go to the second one. Anomaly, that is also a noun. Anomalous growth, that is adjective. Idioms are interesting. Okay. 2, noun, what is the answer? Abnormality. Anomalous, abnormal. And dampen the spirits. Dampen the confidence, dampen the spirit. It is a verb. What is the answer? F is the answer, reduce. Reduce or bring down. That it could be used as an adjective, drought conditions. But they have been experiencing a drought. Then it is a noun. It could be a noun, it could be, not this one. It could be a noun, it could be adjective. Please go to the vestige. Vestige, part of speech, noun. Vestigial, adjective. Answer, it is B. What is B here? Trace. Trace of something. The 4th one, it is B. What is the next one? Permutations. Permutations, answer. Noun, J is the answer. Variations, combinations. Archive, again noun, historical information. Metamorphed, usually we say metamorphosis. Part of speech, it's a verb. Metamorphosis, noun. Means what? Changed. I is the answer. Simulate. Simulate means to create a particular situation. It is not real. Replicate. What is the answer here? Simulate verb, answer G. And lingered. Linger means stay for a long time. Linger, verb, and E is the answer, stay. Heralded. Heralded, indicated. C is the answer, verb C. Trace, already have written. Where is B? Here. B is over. Herald, indicate, result in. Has anyone got all the 10 correct? Who has got all the 10 correct? That is highly appreciable. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow with another editorial to enrich your language proficiency. Have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you very much.